Truly, the past returns to my mind as though it were a thing of today. A quote from Zeami's Atsumori. The concept of our embodied history holds the key to our creative capabilities, as I believe investigating who you are as an individual offstage is the most important step to using the body and mind as a tool of performance. This piece will chronicle bits and pieces of my embodied history and how that would affect my approach to delivering a dramatic performance with reference to the aforementioned Atsumori. No theatre is a Japanese cultural form dating back to the 14th century. It is designed to display the performance of the principal actor, as described by Nagomi Toyoichiro in his article, The Monodramatic Principle of No Theatre. The art form, to my understanding, places a heavy emphasis on spectacle through the use of intricate masks and costumes, as well as the allegorical format of stories told through poetic verses and song. Nogami goes on to say that the contemporary definition of drama requires a conflict of personalities representing two or more points of view. However, conflict of this nature is absent in no dramas. In the case of Atsumori, we follow the internal conflict of the now priest Rensei, formerly known as the warrior Kumagai, as he laments the loss of the innocent Atsumori, who he has slain in battle. Themes of these plays often reflect Shinto ideals with stories relating to ghosts, spirits, dreams, and even supernatural worlds. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They would paint you black every day, and the right things they would never say, like our sportsmen being rated among.
A gorgeous twin isle with a rich and complex history, which led to a massive melting pot of cultures from around the world. Being raised in a Hindu household, I've heard many a religious fable, most of which mirrored the structure of no dramas, specifically Atsumori. I was fascinated by the parallels I've noticed between Hinduism and Shinto culture, most notably in the pursuit of morality in our day-to-day lives and the cyclic nature of life itself. Though I identify as agnostic now, my religious upbringing laid a foundational understanding and familiarity with texts of this nature. Similarly, other cultural forms from the Caribbean that I've studied share a likeness to Japanese folklore, such as traditional carnival masquerades. I feel quite comfortable with the idea of studying the conventions of no theatre and even playing a role in Atsumori because it lies somewhat within my horizon of expectation. As Gareth White postulates in Audience Participation in Theatre, our horizon of expectation is the range of cultural activities we feel comfortable with due to our culmination of past experiences. This rationalizes my profound admiration for Eastern religious cultures and would help me as a performer deliver a more emotionally appealing presentation. Atsumori almost feels like home to me. Music is also a huge part of my life in that rhythm is like a second language to me. It's the age-old story of a child falling in love with music because his parents pushed him in the right direction. And thank God for that. chanting, singing, and drumming used to tell the tale of Atsumori feels organic as it complements the style of delivery of text. From an article written by Diane Ray entitled Habitus and the Psychological Bourdieu with Feelings, Bourdieu writes of habitus as consisting in part of bodily beliefs that are passions and drives, and argues that the confrontation between the habitus and the field is always marked by affectivity, by affective transactions between the habitus and the field. Habitus can be defined as the way a person of a particular background perceives and reacts to the world, and the field in this case being, of course, music. Creating is my passion, and the environment I was raised in fanned the flame of my drive to create. This element of Zeami's work, and no theatre at large, makes me as an actor feel more connected to the piece of work, helping me to deliver a performance more grounded in its timing and feel. While my religious and musical background may help me to deliver a more enticing performance through a cognitive response in understanding and interpreting the text, physicality is also a factor to be considered. In no theatre, the representation of bodies is symbolic and abstract, straying away from realism entirely. During my tenure as an actor, I've experimented with some demanding pieces using Stanislavski's techniques to portray characters with vastly different physicalities. I believe despite the contrast between realistic and symbolic representations of bodies on stage, my past work with gait, posture and mannerisms would help me to deliver a convincing performance of, say, Atsumori. Actors in no theatre attempt to represent a likeness or theme in their movement. Atsumori represents youthful innocence. A quote from the great philosopher and thespian Aristotle goes as follows: "Men acquire a particular quality by constantly acting a particular way. You become just by performing just actions, temperate by performing temperate actions, brave by performing brave actions." In other words, we become what we do. In playing Atsumori, critical analysis of the text, along with a deep sense of empathy for his tragedy, will manifest itself in a performance in which I become innocence and naivety. In studying world theatre, as it relates to the Caribbean theatre context for performing arts at A-levels, I've grown to appreciate ritualistic performances, and no theatre is no different. The history of theatre is fascinating, from its origins in ancient Egyptian and Greek dramas to its now contemporary state with its range of performance in formal and informal contexts. So again, truly the past returns to my mind as though it were a thing of today. And as I evolve as an actor, so too will my embodied history grow. Things I hold dear may fade away. My perspectives on everything may be warped beyond recognition, and my consciousness given shapes anew. However, one thing I will strive to keep constant is my drive for self-awareness, as I believe investigating who you are as an individual off stage is the most important step to using the body and mind as a tool of performance. Thank you.
Physicality.